FIR on this shut वाले में इससे बिल्कुल फंस पड़े सर नहीं।
नमस्कार। पिछले कल और आज के समाचार पत्रों में जो खुलासा हुआ है गुजरात में इशरत जहां एनकाउंटर संबंधित मामले में, उससे स्पष्ट होता है कि सरकार की नीयत केंद्र में सत्ता में आने के बाद ईमानदार नहीं थी। इस सरकार का प्रयास लोगों को गफलत में डालना, असली मुद्दे से ध्यान हटाना, कानूनी प्रक्रिया को कमजोर करना और दोषी और आरोपियों को बचाना। इसीलिए पहला एफिडेविट, दूसरा एफिडेविट, उसकी बात में लोगों को उलझाने का प्रयास किया गया और उसके साथ साथ ये दिखाना कि वो कोई कागज ढूंढ रहे हैं, गुम गए हैं। हमने पहले दिन से कहा था, चिदम्बरम जी ने उस पर अलग से बयान दिया है कि जिस प्रकार से सरकार काम करती है, प्रशासन काम करता है, और जिनको भी इसके बारे में जानकारी है, कोई भी पत्राचार बड़े अधिकारियों के बीच, भारत के गृह सचिव और अटॉर्नी जनरल के बीच, वो अचानक उसकी हर प्रतिलिपि कॉपी गायब नहीं होती। 2009 के पत्राचार का 2015 में और 2016 में ये कहना कि वो मिल नहीं रहे, कभी इस तरह की बात सुनी नहीं। इससे एक ही बात स्पष्ट होती है कि जानबूझ के इन्होंने छेड़खानी करी है फाइल के साथ, क्योंकि चाहते हैं कि इस विषय में, जिसमें मेट्रोपॉलिटन मजिस्ट्रेट तमांग ने अपनी इंक्वायरी के बाद फाइंडिंग्स दी थी, उसके बाद गुजरात हाई कोर्ट ने इस विषय के अंदर SIT कायम की थी। उस SIT में भी गुजरात के अफसर थे, केंद्र सरकार का कोई उससे ताल्लुकात नहीं था उस समय की। उस SIT ने यूनानिमस रिकमेंडेशन किया कि यह फॉल्स एनकाउंटर था। उसके बाद गुजरात हाई कोर्ट इसको मॉनिटर कर रही थी। केंद्र में सत्ता में आने के बाद उस सारी प्रक्रिया को ध्वस्त करना और संरक्षण देना आरोपियों को, यह स्पष्ट है। और उसके बाद जांच भी फिक्स्ड जांच थी, या तो उसमें ईमानदारी होती, ये केवल एक दिखावा था। असली बात देश को समझनी है, इससे थोड़ा अलग हटके भी। मैंने आपके माध्यम से स्वयं, हमने 2 बार ये बात कही कि हां, एक डर्टी ट्रिक्स डिपार्टमेंट चल रहा है और वो पूरा हमारी सरकार के उच्चतम स्तर पर है और प्रधानमंत्री के कार्यालय से उसका सारा कोऑर्डिनेशन है। उसका काम है दस्तावेज गलत बनवाना, दस्तावेज गायब कराना, राजनीतिक विरोधियों के खिलाफ खबर फैलाना, सरकारी कागजों और रिपोर्ट का जो आधारहीन होती हैं, जिसको सरकार अधिकृत रूप से लोगों के सामने नहीं कह सकती, उसको लीक करना, लीक करके छुपवाना और उस पर चर्चा शुरू करना, उस पर बहस करना, राजनीतिक विरोधियों पे की निगरानी करना, बड़े अधिकारियों की निगरानी करना। एक ऐसा इन्होंने व्यवस्था कायम करी है जिसमें एक बड़ी भारी संख्या में सर्वेलेंस है लोगों की। हमने संसद में भी बात कही थी, यहां भी कही थी, फोन की टैपिंग है, राजनीतिक नेताओं विरोध पक्ष के नेता, बड़े अधिकारी, यहां तक कि जजेस, मुझे नहीं मालूम, सूची तो इनके पास होगी, ये बता सकते हैं, जो मुखिया इनके और जो बाकी लोग काम करते हैं इस डर्टी ट्रिक्स विभाग के अंदर, कि पत्रकारों, एडिटर्स में भी कितने लोग उसमें शामिल होंगे, बड़े बड़े व्यापारी भी उसमें हैं। इस सारे घटनाक्रम को देखते हुए विशेषकर इस विषय में जो कल सामने आया है कि किस तरह से गृह मंत्रालय के अंदर ही एक पहले दिखावे की जांच करना और उसको भी फिक्स करना, लोगों को बदनाम करना, पिछली सरकार को, पिछले गृह मंत्री को, और आरोपियों को बचाना। सुप्रीम कोर्ट को इसका नोटिस लेना चाहिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट को इस पे स्वयं सुओ मोटो कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए। अब सरकार का स्पष्टीकरण और इस विषय पे सीबीआई की इंक्वायरी सरकार कराए, वो एक और छलावा होगा, वो एक और धोखा देने की बात होगी, क्योंकि उस सीबीआई में भी जिस तरह से काम हो रहा है, जिस तरह से लोग वहां पे लाए जा रहे हैं, वहां पर भी दुरुपयोग है। और कई चीजों से बातें स्पष्ट हैं कि जो अधिकारी जेल में थे, छूट के आए तो वो हीरो बन गए, उनका अच्छी उच्च पदवी पर उनको लगाया गया। वो जो ईमानदार लोग काम कर रहे थे, गुजरात में तो डीजीपी को भी एकदम से उसको हटा दिया। तो ये एक वास्तविकता, घटनाक्रम को अगर आप गौर से देखें, इसलिए आवश्यक हो जाता है कि ये कानूनी प्रक्रिया और देश के कानून के साथ खिलवाड़ करते रहें, उसको रोकने के लिए सर्वोच्च न्यायालय को तुरंत इसमें हस्तक्षेप करना चाहिए, ताकि देश के कानून के तहत सच्चाई सामने आए और जो लोग भी दोषी पाए जाएं, भारत के कानून को, हमारे पिनल कोड को तोड़ने का, क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर कोड को उल्लंघन करने का, उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई हो। I have said it, but I'll mention it very briefly, that revelations that have come in public domain about a cosmetic inquiry that was being conducted by the Home Ministry on the orders of the Home Minister was a farce. It was a fixed exercise. This entire drama was enacted. An issue of 2 affidavits brought to the fore, which had nothing to do with the merits of the case, was to deflect and divert attention from the issue that was before the Gujarat High Court, and to derail the entire judicial process, to shield the culprits, and to defame the political opponents. It is an elaborate exercise that has been undertaken, and it's very clear now that it was not that there was a serious probe going on. Those of us who are familiar with the functioning of the Government of India, with the filing of the notes and sensitive documents, the correspondence between country's Home Secretary and the Attorney General, these things do not disappear. In any case, the copies of the affidavits are there before the courts, and anyone can access that. That's why I've said that it was farce, it was fixed, it was to mislead, it was to shield the culprits, and to derail the processes of law. It is a serious matter. This government is mastering the art of fabricating documents, selectively leaking documents, and in addition to that, making documents and files disappear. This is a new functioning which has the stamp of the authoritarian style that the Prime Minister has put in place in a country where there is parliamentary democracy. We have said twice in the past and raised it in the Parliament that there is this dirty tricks department which is overactive, which is busy not in ensuring that this government works as per the rule of law and the Prime Minister delivers on his promises. They are overactive to target the political opponents. They have created a system of surveillance, tapping of phones of political opponents, senior leaders in the country, senior civil servants, members of judiciary. Surely they are not going to be generous to share the list, but it is in complete violation of the law. That's why we have in the past also demanded that there should be a thorough probe into what this Department of Dirty Tricks is doing, how the rule of law is being subverted, how the constitutional protection which the citizens enjoy, irrespective of being in public life or in civil service, are being grossly and brazenly violated. Besides that, on this particular development, the Supreme Court, we urge them to intervene, to take note, and to ensure that the constitution of this country is respected and the rule of law prevails irrespective of the issue, the matter, and the personalities involved. We are aware of this particular issue, and we have repeatedly said it is not a political matter. The Metropolitan Magistrate, the High Court judges of Gujarat, and for that matter, the senior officers of the Indian Police Service who are part of the SIT do not belong to any political party and do not have any political agenda, which would be very unfair to say so. This is not an issue which can be left now to this government. Prime Minister, his Home Minister and the government have lost all credibility. They do not have even a fig leaf to justify what they have been saying. We know that they are thick-skinned. They do it deliberately. So I'll not be wasting words to asking them to apologize. It's for the Supreme Court now to ensure that those who are guilty are adequately punished. I know that you'll have questions, so this was the matter which I wanted to comment upon, and if there are other questions, I'll take, or any question.
Anandji, you said that you have demanded that Supreme Court should immediately intervene and so moto probe into this entire...
No, not only probe. It is the real issue was the ongoing trial. That is the real issue. So the deflection is from that.
What are you demanding from Supreme Court?
To ensure that the trial which was being monitored by the High Court is taken to its logical conclusion, and this government is not allowed anymore to derail the trial and the process of justice. And certainly ordering an inquiry and then fixing an inquiry, if people can be punished for match fixing, then this is far more serious. This government is not only framing the opponents, but this government is also fixing inquiries, fudging documents, and making important documents disappear, and busy selectively leaking to one or two favored ones, and they get sensationalized as if something big has come out. This is happening and you all are aware.
Coming back to what you had said on Monday,
Yes.
and you said you're not buckle under pressure.
Yes.
Not a fold on
Correct.
What is
I remember my words.
And AAP now says that you have to, like, it just shows your complicity in the Congress party and its leaders role in.
Can I, Sunil, it's very important because this is a sensitive matter. AAP has no credibility, no legitimacy. They have an opportunistic agenda, and whatever they are saying, I reject it with contempt because it is for narrow political gains with the eye on the Punjab state elections. So their statement for reopening a case is actually ridiculous when there was no case ever in the last 32 years. How can a case which never existed be reopened? You can reopen something if it existed. What never existed cannot be reopened. That they must know. If there was a mention, as we told that day, in Nanavati Commission itself had clarified. So this issue is for us a non-issue. Now Congress party has not buckled under pressure. We stand firmly by what we have said. At the same time, Kamal Nath is a senior parliamentarian, the senior most in the Lok Sabha. He has been a general secretary, a union minister. And when he was being targeted and his position and responsibility being mischievously abused by the political opponents of the Congress to hurt the Indian National Congress and mislead the people, he, out of anguish, because this is not a small thing, when a person day in and day out is being condemned and berated for something that the person concerned has never been guilty of or charged ever. And it's also an emotional issue. So it was he who on his own volition realized that this has been created as a smokescreen to deflect attention from what actually is happening in Punjab, whether it's the misrule, corruption, the drug mafia, the syndicates which operate in Punjab. So he has on his own volition requested to be relieved of the responsibility. Congress party has not buckled under any pressure. And we have to respect his sentiment, because we must also always remember that under our law, and there are Supreme Court judgments too, the right to reputation has been equated with right to life. You cannot just assault reputation of any person, big or small. And here, if you are a senior political person and recklessly and in an irresponsible manner somebody stands up and hurls accusations, what it does to that person, to the institution, and to the families of the people concerned, we have to always bear in mind. That's why we have always been saying that the narrative has to be honest. This was a dishonest, mischievous, perverse narrative being sought to be built, and therefore the General Secretary of the AICC has taken this step himself. It's not a question. You have to respect the sentiment. You must understand, because if you were wearing that shoe, that how it hurts when this kind of allegations are made. This is a serious charge being leveled unfairly. We maintain what we have said.
So what I want to know is whether you have relieved Mr. Kamal Nath of this charge to protect his reputation,
No.
or to correct a decision which was perceived to be insensitive to the victim.
How insensitive when a person is not there? When a person has never been accused of anything. You see, we are talking 32 years after that incident. In 32 years there has never been a case. Tomorrow somebody will stand up and name a third person. After all, this This must not be allowed. I think his letter, which he has written to the Congress president, is very, very clear that why it is being done and how deeply anguished and hurt he is, and he wants to be relieved of that responsibility. Of course, yes, he continues. Yes, he continues. Very much there. He continues as a party general secretary, nobody. You see, you people make news reports, we make news. So when it happens or something happens, we will let you know what is the decision. नहीं, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता. ये तो लखनऊ से इस पे टिप्पणी हो सकती है. मैं तो सुबह से बैठकों में था पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, मुझे अभी जानकारी हुई है. मैं मालूम करूंगा, हो सकता है कोई वजूहत हो. You see, if you recall on Monday what I had said, that all the claims that have been made are false claims. And I would like to remind you again that A, the claims on the NSG, please always revisit the history of the nuclear agreement, which concluded in July 2008. And Shri Narendra Modi and the BJP, they wanted to topple our government, and they brought in a no confidence motion, which was voted, and the country watched it, what happened. Now that is the 1-2-3 agreement. I am repeating, but it's very important. 1-2-3 agreement meant that America had to amend its constitution to enter into a nuclear agreement with a country which was a non-signatory also of the NPT. Because we did not agree to sign. That's a fact. Then IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, had to make an India-specific provisions which was required as a prerequisite for the agreement between India and the United States of America. Number 3, there was an India-specific waiver by the NSG, the Nuclear Suppliers Group, because US is a founder member of the NSG. So a waiver of the NSG was also required. So they had to do 3 things, which they did. Then, what has been done now? Now, NSG waiver for India was already in place. Question is of membership, which was agreed to in principle. But if Prime Minister had said that he has gone to Switzerland and Switzerland has agreed, or Mexico has agreed, my direct question to Prime Minister is, when did Switzerland oppose? When was Mexico opposed? You know the relationship between United States of America and Mexico. If US has amended its constitution and already NSG has given the waiver in 2008, what has happened now in Mexico? They should not mislead the country. Similarly, I also gave you a long list of the countries which had fully endorsed and supported India's case, beginning with UK, France, Russia, Germany, Brazil, Nigeria, South Africa, South Korea, Ethiopia, Australia, United States itself. It's a long list. So he goes to Mexico. I'm very happy that the president there took him for some meal. He should not, and every newspaper publishes it. Prime Minister of India doing anything will get published. But the fact and the history cannot be forgotten. Now he also went to Qatar. Now, Qatar is not a member of NSG or MTCR. So what was there? Fine, he has every right to go and travel. Once he delivers something to you as a people of India, that will be a very good thing. which he is so far not. Another thing is on MTCR, as I said, it's a work in progress. Then he is talking about the great partnership. You see, diplomacy, and when you go, and any previous Prime Minister, as I had said, I didn't find it published, the seriousness is taken from who receives you at the airport. As I had said, but let me repeat it, Nehru went in 48, Truman was there, open car. He went again, Kennedy came to the airport and went inside the aircraft to escort him out. Ronald Reagan, Rajiv Gandhi, please visit. Dr. Manmohan Singh, when he went. This time the only thing is that which everybody is forgetting, that it was the lady mayor of that area who went to receive India's Prime Minister. Please do not get misled by this government's propaganda. Another thing, please do a reality check, and I am saying something very serious now. What was the address to the US Congress? Was the US Congress in session? There were not even 50 congressmen. The rest were staffers. Those who were taking the autographs are also NRIs and members of the Indian diaspora. People are given invitation and people can attend. Please go by the visuals, take out the list. That standing ovation, many of them were cheerleaders of Mr. Modi himself. This is also a reality, which I want to tell you. Let this list be published by the US Congress, how many congressmen had signed and they were present there, then you will realize, and what is the actual strength of the US Congress. And how many of these people, whom you will find at many places, were there. Because invitations are sent. We have a function in Central Hall. Invitations are sent. And so many people who are not members of parliament come for major functions. Sometimes half of the Central Hall is full of non-MPs for some private functions. Urban leaders come. So it is not something exceptional that has happened. So now US Senate has finally exposed the hollowness and the falsity of the claims made by Narendra Modi and his propagandists. They have refused to have this strategic and defense partnership or recognize India as one. Now what the government has to say that we remain a strategic partner for defense procurement. As a buyer of military equipment or defense platforms, you don't have to be a strategic partner. You are just a buyer. You are paying billions of dollars, but they refuse to recognize you as a strategic partner. That is important. Now this issue will not get the same traction as the false propaganda got. I request you, let the people know the truth. Thank you.
So, sir, one question: 5 terror attacks have taken place on security forces in 10 days' time period in Jammu and Kashmir. What a serious thing.
Now we are very much concerned over the continued breach of India's national security, the terror attacks from across the border. This government has singularly failed, and the Prime Minister, to deliver on their commitment to make our frontier secure and to protect our people. वो पहले जो कहते थे, हम नहीं कहते, वो वैसी भाषा हम इस्तेमाल भी नहीं करते. We don't use that kind of language कि हम एक की जगह 10 काट देंगे, हम ईंट से ईंट बजा देंगे. हम कहते ईंट से ईंट मत बजाओ, अपने आप को सुरक्षित रखो. देखिए, वो कहराना स्पष्ट है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को अगर अपने उपलब्धियों पर उत्तर प्रदेश का चुनाव लड़ना है तो इनकी बड़ी बुरी हालत होगी. इसलिए ये जो तापमान है उसको गर्म कर रहे. एक तो गर्मी में होता है, इस साल गर्मी बहुत आई, 46-47 डिग्री तक गया दिल्ली का. ये कहराना का तापमान बरसात और सर्दी में भी गर्म करना चाहते हैं, और पूरे यूपी का, ताकि राजनीतिक ध्रुवीकरण हो और ये फिर कोई ना कोई 2-4 ऐसे काम करें कुछ जो ये करते हैं. धर्म का दुरुपयोग, धर्म का अपमान, उसके नाम पर राजनीति, उसके नाम पर वोट, और दूसरी कोई बात है नहीं. अगर उपलब्धियां वास्तविक होती तो उन पर चुनाव लड़ो। या अचानक पिछले लोकसभा से पहले मुजफ्फरनगर हुआ, अब ये शुरू कर दिया। देश में कितने दंगे हुए हैं जब से ये आए हैं। ये देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा और समाज की स्थिरता इससे कमजोर होती है। ये बात। दूसरा, कितनी जगह पे किस किस की वापसी करोगे, कहां कहां, अगर लोग कोई खुद ही चले गए हों। कई लोग अपने घर से दूर जाके रहते हैं, काम करते हैं, कारोबार करते हैं, तो उनको बीजेपी की जिम्मेवारी है या संघ परिवार की है कि उनको पकड़ पकड़ के वापस लेके जाओ कि क्यों गए भाई। जाके जांच करो ना, कौन गया, कब गया, क्यों गया। ये क्या हो रहा है देश के अंदर। मैं भारत के लोगों की बात करता हूं। मैं भारत के लोग को भारत के संविधान के तहत धर्म और जाति के नाम पर उनकी शनाख्त नहीं करता। धन्यवाद।